Hi everyone. I'm Rajarajeshwari, a chartered accountant, cost accountant, and a company secretary. And in today's class, we will be seeing what are the provisions for minutes and how it should be recorded, what are the time limitations, and what about EGM, AGM, so how those minutes are recorded, and what are the provisions that are applicable to one person company because many of them are not applicable for OPC. So we will be seeing all those thing in detail in today's class. So when I say minutes, you have got three meetings, right? One is AGM, one is EGM, and you have got board meeting. So AGM and EGM, this is the meeting of the members. This board meeting is the meeting of the board of directors. In all these cases, you should have to record it. Minutes is an evidence of what are all the transactions that were taken place, what are all the resolutions passed. So that is an evidence. So generally, minutes books are maintained for any company, small company or a private limited company, listed company. And the minutes book should be numbered from pages. What practically they do is that they will take the printout and they will put it in a binder so that it should not be in, you can't tear it or you cannot insert something. So after a period, they will bound into a notebook and they will keep it separately for reference because that should be maintained permanently. So what they do for many companies, they just have it in a binder and so that it is not altered once they have pasted it and it is not altered. The main thing is that minutes should be signed, right? So if there is a page, suppose this is the paper, on every page you should have to there is a space provided for signing the initial, and in the last page you should have to write the date, place and the signature by the chairman of the meeting. Or if that chairman is not available, even our general meeting, if the board meeting, whoever is available, whoever is authorized, he can act as a chairman. Whoever has acted as a chairman, he can sign the minutes. So generally, we get it from the chairman of the meeting. We sign it and we keep it as a record. It should be recorded. Now, if it is done by a postal ballot, even postal ballot is a part of the general meeting, right? Even if the resolutions are passed by postal ballot, that will be part of the general meeting. Either it is AGM or EGM, you just record the minutes there. And minutes should be recorded within 30 days of the conclusion of the meeting. Suppose a board meeting is held on 1st April 2026. Before 30th April, it should be recorded in the minutes and it should be signed. So even though the law specifies 30 days, in practice, they will immediately record it in 1 or 2 days. They will write the minutes and they will record it and get it signed from the chairman. So that is the usual procedure we follow. We will see what are all the points regarding that. Now, minutes, every company shall prepare, sign, and keep minutes. So it should have to first prepare the minutes, it should have to sign the minutes, and it should also maintain the minutes of the every general meeting and every resolution passed by postal ballot. Now, this is also part of the general meeting. So that is also recorded. And every meeting of the board of directors, board meeting also, or a committee meeting, that is also recorded within 30 days of the conclusion of every such meeting. with their pages consecutively numbered. See, if it is not numbered, we number it 1, 2, 3, 4. It should be numbered. Suppose you are recording it in the 112th page and 113th page. The minutes run to 2 pages. So it is 112 and 113. So it should be numbered. Only then you will have control. Why it should be numbered? You should have a control. Nobody should insert it. Nobody should delete thing. So it should be numbered so that it is in order. So that is a very important point. Minutes should be consecutively numbered. It should be consecutively numbered, one after the other. Meaning 113, you cannot leave 114 and start from 115. Even that 114 should also be numbered. That is the meaning, consecutively numbered. And what are the proceedings that it will contain? All appointments made. Suppose you appoint a director, then that also you make a note there. So all appointment of a director or you appoint a director or any appointment made or appointment of a company secretary or anything, because immediately you should have to give this extract to the ROC also, extract of the minutes. From that extract, minutes extract of the resolution should also be attached in the form. So you once it is signed, it is proper, it is pakka, and then you take the extract and give it to the ROC. So within 30 days, you should also file the form if any resolutions are passed. So you uh, record it in the minutes and you give it. And in case of board meeting, we will write the heading minutes of the meeting of board of directors of ABC Limited held on say 10th April 2026 at 10 a.m. And below that, we will write the directors present. Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, the director, whatever his designation, that designation will be given. And if a person is not present, that will also be recorded as leave of absence was granted. He should have to request that he will not be in a position to attend the meeting, and the leave of absence will be granted to Mr. D. So that we will record it in the minutes. So these are the, when I say directors present, who are not there, whether we will see that leave of absence was given. And after that, the chairman, it will start like this. The chairman, after ascertaining the requisite quorum, call the meeting to order, and one after the other, the whatever is the agenda, that they will record it. And suppose I am a director, my remuneration is going to be increased from, say, 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs. Of course, it has to be approved, final approved by the general meeting shareholders. But in the board meeting, this resolution is passed because I am interested or concerned in that resolution, then I should not participate in that resolution. Because it is pertaining, either it could be because of my increase of remuneration, or for the first time the board is appointing me. So in that case, the person cannot participate in that resolution. So that will also be recorded. So not being interested person, he did not participate in the resolution. It was resolved with the remaining directors concerned. So the minutes will be recorded like that. And if a director, if they pass a resolution and some of the directors are not agree, dissenting from the resolution, with the majority they pass the resolution. They say there are 15 directors. Now 12 directors agree. Then 2 directors do not agree. So even that should be recorded. Name of the directors who are dissenting from the or not concurring with the resolution, that will also be noted if there is any. So that will also be recorded. So board meeting or committee minutes, meeting minutes shall also contain the name of the directors present at the meeting and the names of the directors dissenting from. Dissenting means not accepting, or they are not in favor of the resolution, dissenting from or not concurring with the resolution. And should you record all the information in the minutes? The chairman has got the discretion. Suppose the minutes, if you write it, suppose there is a thing, whatever is defamatory in nature, or it's not uh, necessary to include such matters in the minutes, then the chairman may open, and in that case, you need not record those things. 3 points you should have to remember. If it is defamatory in nature, or irrelevant, or immaterial, or detrimental. Detrimental means it is not in favor of the company, it is against the company. So detrimental to the interest of the company, then those three things need not be recorded in the minutes. But it is at the sole discretion, of absolute discretion of the chairman. So this is again an important point. Should minutes contain all the information? Comment. So if they give you, you should have to say, yes, it should contain all, and you should also specify what are all the matters that will be included and not included. Both you should have to mention in the examination. In not included, 3 points. It is defamatory in nature, or it is irrelevant or immaterial, and it is detrimental to the interest of the company. Then it need not be, those matters need not be recorded in the minutes. So the chairman has got every right, even if it is recorded, he has got every right to remove that from the minutes, and the balance he will sign. So once it has been corrected, then he will put his signature, because he is the person who is going to sign the minutes. He is the chairing that meeting, so he has got every right. So the matter to be included or excluded in the minutes shall be at the absolute discretion of the chairman of the meeting. Well, what is the evidence that it serves? What evidence does it serves? Once you make the minutes, you write the minutes, it is a proof that meeting was duly held. Duly is a very powerful word, I will say. Duly held. So meeting was duly held. Duly means it complied with the provisions and it has taken. Then the proceedings took place. Then you have passed the resolutions, whatever that appears in the minute, that resolution have been passed with the majority, or whatever it is, unanimous consent, or in board meetings you call it as requisite majority. With the requisite majority means you use the word for board meeting, requisite majority. For general meeting, you call it as a simple majority or a special resolution. You call it as an ordinary resolution or a special resolution. Then unanimous consent means unanimous consent of all the directors present. Then all the directors have given their consent in favor. Then you write the minutes, or you record the minutes as unanimous consent. All in favor. They have given the decision in favor, or they have all have agreed for that resolution. Then we write the record the minutes as unanimous consent of all the directors present. So all the resolutions and all appointments are also valid because it has been recorded in the minutes. So that is a proof that it is done correctly. Then the every company should also observe these secretarial standards. The ICSI has come out with secretarial standards 1, 2, 3, 4 for various general meeting, board meeting. So the company should have to observe those SS standards, secretarial standards. We call it as SS 1, 2, etc. So that should also be followed by the company. Then if there is any penalty or for contravention, yes, the minute should have to be maintained. For default and complying with the provisions, the company is responsible or the company is liable for 25,000 rupees and every officer is liable for 5,000. And tampering with the minutes. You are not supposed to alter the minutes. If a person is found guilty of tampering with the minutes, then the imprisonment is liable to an imprisonment which may extend to 2 years. So when you get the word in the act, which may extend to 2 years, you should not write the answer as he is liable for 2 years imprisonment. The answer is wrong. The wording says which may extend to 2 years means maximum time of imprisonment of maximum years of imprisonment is 2 years. It could be 1 year, it could be 1.5 years, or it could be 6 months. It could be anything. So the maximum which may extend up to 2 years, maximum imprisonment is 2 years. It will not go beyond that. And for fine which will not be less than 25,000 rupees and which may extend to 1 lakh. So a person might be asked to pay the fine of 30,000 or 50,000. It could be on any amount in between 25,000 to 1 lakh. So not less than 25,000 and which may extend to 1 lakh means this is your maximum fine. So when you write the law paper, your wording should be very clear. When it says that it may extend up to 2 years, if you simply say as 2 years imprisonment, then that is a flat imprisonment. So that is not a flat time of imprisonment. It may extend to 2 years, up to 2 years. So you should have to write it clearly in the examination. Especially with penalty provisions, this is a very important penalty provision. Every company, because the directors or because directors only have access. So they are whoever is the officer of the company. So they are liable for imprisonment. So that's why it should not be tampered. So that is the reason why it should be consecutively numbered. You should have to number it. So once it is tampered, you can find out when the pages are missing, then that is tampering or your another page is inserted. That is the reason why every page should have to be initialed by the chairman. Once it is initialed, suppose a person wants to change it, then the initial will not be there, right? So every page we should check whether every page is initialed and the last page is signed with the place, date, and the full signature will be there. Every page initial will be there in the space provided. And in the last page, you have that place of you write it, the chairman should sign above the printed thing as chairman, and with full signature, he should have to put it. So that is the rule. There is a minutes binder and minutes loose leaf which are available. A thick sheet is there. We used to get it inserted in the printer and we will take printout and it will be kept in a binder. That is the practical aspect which every company follows. Then what is the rule which prescribes the maintenance of minutes? That we will see. Now, any minutes has been maintained, you have to maintain it separately for board meeting, you have to maintain it separately for extraordinary general meeting, for annual general meeting, we maintain it separately. Why? It should be consecutively numbered. We don't know when the AGM is going to be held, right? So board meeting separate, EGM separate, AGM separate. You have to do it separately. For distinct minutes books should have to be maintained. For creditors meeting separately. For committee meeting, you should have to maintain a distinct minute books. It should be consecutively numbered. You have to maintain it separately. That is a must. And for postal ballot, it is a part of the general meeting. That will be recorded in the general meeting attached to that, whether it could be an AGM or EGM. Maximum time limit is 30 days, within which you should have to record the minutes. Then, in case if a resolution is passed by postal ballot, you have to, the minutes should also contain the report, brief report, and what was the resolution proposed and how it was passed, that result of the voting, votes cast in favor, votes cast against with the numbers, and the scrutinizer's report. That will also be mentioned in the minutes. Or you can attach the scrutinizer's report also. So a summary of the scrutinizer's report, whatever he has given, that should have to be given. And signing of minutes book. Each page should be initialed and the unsigned, and the last page shall be dated and signed. Very important. Who should have to sign it? The chairman of the minutes of the board meeting or committee meeting, either the chairman of the said meeting or the next succeeding meeting. Suppose the first board meeting is held on 1/4/2026. Then the next board meeting is held on, say, 8th June or 8th July 2026. So this is the first board meeting. This is the second board meeting. So the chairman of the first board meeting can sign the minutes, or the chairman of the succeeding board minute, 8/7/2026, chairman can sign the minutes of 1/4/2026. If it is a board meeting, then it can be signed by, that is an internal record, right? So that can be signed by the chairman of the next succeeding meeting also. Whereas in case of a general meeting, it is dealing with the members. It should be signed by the chairman of the same meeting. If it is an EGM held on 1st September of AGM held on 1st September 2026. That is not a routine thing. Every 1 year you will hold an general meeting. Then the chairman of the same meeting should have to sign it. Even for board minutes, we insist practically, though the law specifies that it can be signed by the chairman of the next succeeding meeting, but by practice, we get it signed by the same chairman. Though the rule provides that it can also be signed by the chairman of the next succeeding meeting if he is not available. Suppose minutes was not there, was not recorded. Say it will take 3 days. Then the chairman has left on a foreign tour. Then he is back only after 3 months, or he is not available. Then in that case, you can sign it with the, or he retires. Anything can happen. So in that case, we get it signed by the chairman of the next succeeding meeting. Then, in case of a death or inability of that chairman, in case of a general meeting, then by a director duly authorized by the board for the purpose, then he should have to sign the general meeting. In case of resolution by postal ballot, then the chairman of the board, he generally, it is he who declares the result, so he will sign the minutes. Then, in the event of there being no chairman of the board or the death or inability of that chairman, then any director duly authorized by the board, for him, you should have to pass a resolution authorizing him to sign the minutes of the general meeting. So, in the board meeting, you should have to authorize him. Mr. C is the person who is authorized, who is a director, he was authorized. Then the board meeting should have to specify that Mr. C is hereby authorized to sign the minutes of the meeting of the members held on 1/9/2026, and to do all such acts and things as may be necessary in this regard. So that resolution will word like that, and we will pass a resolution that authorizing Mr. C. So in that board meeting, you will have this authorization agenda. It should be authorized by the board in a board meeting, or you authorize him. So that minutes will also contain the authorization resolution. So this is generally the rule for maintaining the minutes. Then where you should have to keep the minutes, and who are the persons who are entitled for inspection. So you keep the minutes in the registered office of the company, preservation permanently. That's why it should not be mutilated or torn or tampered. It should be preserved with care. And you keep it in the custody of the company secretary or any director. If there is no company secretary, then no, this is an employee of the company. When I say company secretary, employee of the company who has got a full-time company secretary, not a practicing company secretary, then or a director duly authorized, who should be authorized for maintaining this minutes. It is in his custody that he should have to maintain it properly. And for Section 8 companies, that is not for profit or charitable companies, it does not apply as a whole, but the rule is applicable. Within 30 days, you should have to do it. And in case of companies where the articles of association provide for confirmation of minutes by circulation. What is minutes by circulation? Suppose they cannot convene a proper board meeting. Then what they can do, they can pass the resolution that this resolution needs to be passed, and they will circulate it among the members who will put their signature. Those who are agreeing to it, please sign and revert back the paper. So it will be circulated. That paper will be circulated, and they will sign and revert back to the company. So those papers, they will keep it as an evidence. That is called as minutes by circulation. Then exemption shall be applicable for a Section 8 company. Only two conditions should have to be satisfied. It should have filed its financial statement with the ROC and annual return. That is AOC 4 and annual return. Accounts of companies, wherein the company will attach the notice, director's report, auditor's report, balance sheet, P&L, cash flow statement if it is there, or schedules to balance sheet, etc. That full set, it should have to file with the ROC, and this should be filed within 30 days. And annual return, we saw 60 days time limit is there from the date of AGM. It should have to be filed with the ROC. So, which has not committed a default. So, for that, this exemption is available. The company, Section 8 company, would not have committed a default in filing AOC 4 and annual return, accounts and annual return. That is the rule. Then who can inspect the minutes? So inspection of minutes is also possible. See, you are keeping that minutes in the registered office of the company. It is open for inspection during business hours. For a member, you can give him free of charge, without charge. If he wants to inspect the minutes of the general meeting, minimum 2 hours will be provided. It is minimum 2 hours. That is the usage of the word at least 2 hours. It could be 4 hours, it could be 5 hours. They can also keep it open from 10 to 5. It is their thing. But the rule is that minimum 2 hours you should have to keep it open. So that is the concept. And of course, subject to such reasonable restrictions as may be specified in the articles of a company or imposed in the general meeting. That is there. And suppose he asks, request a copy of the minutes, then within 7 working days, you should have to send him a copy. Then if it is on, you can charge him, but it cannot exceed more than 10 rupees. Fees cannot be not greater than 10 rupees per page. So whatever, even you can give him free of charge also. That is left to the company. But the rule is that maximum charge that you can levy from that member is not more than 10 rupees. So such some either it could be 1 rupee, 2 rupee, or free of charge, whatever has been specified in the articles of association. Articles of association can specify what is the amount that the company should have to charge. But the act specifies it should not be more than 10 rupees per page. So you have to follow that also. Whatever has been specified in the articles will not hold good. On the other day, we saw that the act overrides the articles. If it is soft copy, then no charge. Soft copy in the sense on the online to his email he has requested, not a physical copy. So you are going to send the thing only by a soft copy of any general meeting for the 3 preceding financial years. So that he is asking immediately preceding financial years. So 2026 AGM, then 2025 AGM, then 2024 AGM. 3 preceding financial years, 2023. So these 3 years minutes he is asking, you can send them by soft copy also. Suppose the company refuses, then for the company it should have to pay a penalty of 25,000 and the officer should have to pay a penalty of 5,000. Or you're refusing the inspection or you're not furnishing it within time, within 7 days, you're not giving it, then the company and every officer in default is liable for a penalty. So when you come across this time limit, you can remember like this. So daily 2 hours per day, it should be allowed for inspection. And when the member requests, within 7 days, you should have to, the company should have to provide the copy of that minutes. Of course, it can charge not exceeding sum of rupees 10 per page or each page or part thereof. This is inspection of minute books of general meeting. Then, yes. See, if it goes, he specifies that the company is not allowing, then it will be an issue and penalty is payable by the company. When it goes to the court, then penalty is billed. When it is proved, then the penalty is levied. Or if the member says he has reduced, then he can move and the company, if it is found guilty, it should have to pay the penalty. That is the concept. Now, general meetings. Now, every company should have to hold an annual general meeting. The rule is that we close the financial year, we take the financial year from 1st April. See, this year, 2025 to 31/3/2026. This is our financial year. So from the close of this financial year, 6 months time limit is there. So when it is March, April, May, June, July, August, September. So the last date on which your AGM should have been held or ought to have been held is 6 months from the close of the financial year. So this 31/3 is the close of the financial year. From that year, from that date, 6 months time limit is there. So the company should have to hold its annual general meeting within 6 months of the close of its financial year. It is closing its books on 31/3/2026, then it must have to hold its AGM on 39. Suppose if the company closes on 31/12/2026, then it should have to hold its AGM within 6 months from that date. Then within 30th June, it should have to hold its AGM. Generally, majority of the company keep this as financial year and they close the accounts, and within 6 months you should have to hold it. If it is a case of a first AGM, then time limit is there. 9 months you have got a time limit from the close of the financial year. Suppose I have incorporated on, say, 1st June 2025 to 31/3/2026. I want to close my financial year on 31/3/2026. My financial year will start from the date of incorporation to the year end. They might ask you in the examination, in the first year, it will not be from 1/4/2025 to 31/3/2026. It will be from the date of incorporation. If the incorporation was done subsequent to 1/4/2025, from the first day, the day on which it was incorporated, only from that date will be the first day of the financial year starting. It will start from the date of incorporation. Incorporation date only the financial year will start in case of first year. So there you should have to be clear for the first year from date of incorporation to year end. Subsequent years, it can be from 1/4/2026 to 31/3/2027. It can be anything. In case of first year of incorporation, the time limit given is if it closes its books on 31/3/2026, 9 months from that, it has got a time limit. It is enough if it holds the AGM on or before 31/12/2026. That privilege is given for first financial year. That is possible. And another rule is that if I hold the AGM for 2025 in May, 1st May I have hold the AGM. Then 2026, I cannot hold the AGM on 39/2026. Why? The gap between these two AGMs should not be more than 15 months. So May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July. So It should not be more than. So definitely it cannot be on 30th September 2026, because this provision also you should have to remember. The gap between two AGMs should not exceed 15 years. So you have to keep the AGM in such a way that it doesn't exceed, it is within 15 years. The company should have to keep that in mind and do it. So we'll see now the provisions. Annual general meeting, every company, whether public or private, except one person company. So exception is provided for this one person company. Every company, whether public or private, shall hold an AGM every year, and that the gap between two AGMs shall not be more than 15 months. The company shall specify the meeting as such. That is, it is the meeting of notices hereby given that the annual general meeting of the company will be held at. So it should have to specify in that notice that the annual general meeting of the company will be held on. So that it should have to specify. Or if it is a general meeting, no issue. But if it is an annual general meeting, it should have to mention, or it can simply say a general meeting will be held for if it is an extraordinary general meeting. But annual general meeting, it is a mandatory. General meeting is not mandatory, which the company cannot wait. So it is conducting a general meeting in between two AGMs. That is a general meeting. It cannot wait till the next AGM. So here it is mandatory. Every company should have to hold an AGM. So in the notice also you should have to mention that it is a AGM will be held. And it should be held once a year. First AGM within 9 months of the close of the financial year. Subsequent AGM 6 months from the close of financial year. That's why we say that the last date is 30th September. It should be held on or before 30th September. And the time gap between two AGMs is not more than 15 months. Should not exceed 15 years. Extension, can you get an extension for holding that AGM? Yes, but not for the first AGM. For first AGM, first annual general meeting, no extension. For subsequent annual general meeting, you should have to make an application before the due date, before 30th September, that to the ROC, that due to the inability of the company to hold an AGM, you should have to request it. The ROC generally grants 3 months extension. So you should have to hold the AGM on or before 31st December of that year. So he can grant extension not exceeding 3 months. Maximum time limit is 3 months. So 30th September, you should have to hold the AGM. So you can hold it. You can hold the AGM on or before 31st December. That is the concept. Then, is there any restriction as to the time and place of holding the EGM? Can you hold it at 10 p.m. in the night? Not possible. It should be during business hours, say from 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 2 p.m. That is also acceptable. Maximum 6 p.m. you should have to hold, because the meeting will go for 3 hours, 4 hours, it could be. So what practically what we do is that we start it say from 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. we do it. And can it be held on a national holiday? No. You cannot hold the AGM on August 15th or October 2nd, Gandhi Jayanti, and on an Independence Day or a Republic Day or Gandhi Jayanti. So these 3 days are generally not uh, the dates for holding an annual general meeting. We don't keep the AGM on those dates. That is on a day that is not a national holiday. And at which place you should have to hold. Suppose they may test you in the examination. It was held on, AGM was conducted on August 15th. So then you should have to remember it cannot be held on a national holiday. And you should have to give your comment. It cannot be held on August 15th. Then AGM is generally held at the registered office of the company. Or it can also be held in the state or the town in which the registered office is situated. Not exactly the same place. Within the state, you can hold the AGM. See, if it is a government company, now in addition to the above, such other place should be approved by the central government. You can also, if the central government has approved a place, in that place, the government company can hold the AGM. Government company means where more than 51% of the share capital is held by state government or central government or partly by state government and central government. Then it is a government company. So in that case, the central government can give authorization, can give an approval on holding the AGM for a place. Even in that place, you can hold the AGM. If it is a unlisted company, for a listed company, all these rules are there. It is an unlisted company. It could be a private limited company or a public limited company. Any place in India, you cannot keep it in USA, UK, or Japan, or any other thing. Within India, any place. If consent is given in writing or in electronic mode by all the members in advance. Otherwise, you should have to hold it only at the registered office of the company. If consent you have obtained, suppose there are only 10 shareholders. All the 10 have given the consent, or there are 100 shareholders. All the 100 shareholders have given their consent to holding the general meeting in a particular place in India. Then you can do it in any place in India. What about Section 8 company? Then it should have to be decided before where they are going to keep its general meeting. The time, date, and place of each annual general meeting are decided upon beforehand by the board of directors, having regard to the directions, if any, given in this regard by the company in its general meeting. So, based on that, they will decide in advance where they are going to keep the AGM. Now, the two rules you should have to specify. What are they? It should have filed the account with the ROC, and it should also have filed the annual return with the registrar. So this, it should not make a default. No default in this. It has filed accounts and annual return. These are compulsory, which has not committed a default. Then, suppose the company has not called a general meeting, then who has got the power to call a general meeting? Then you have a National Company Law Tribunal. Tribunal means it is National Company Law Tribunal. So NCLT. National Company Law Tribunal. In short, it is called as tribunal. It has got power to call the AGM. See, the act doesn't specify specifically for Section 8 companies. It has specified the time, date are decided upon beforehand. Time, date, and place. But every company, even it should have to hold within that 6 months. That holds good. Within 6 months from the close of financial year, even Section 8 company should have to hold its AGM. That is a must. But they can decide before in the previous meeting. It is a charitable organization, right? It's not for profit organization. So it has national holidays, definitely it cannot hold. It cannot hold a general meeting on a national holiday. For every company, it cannot hold its AGM on a national holiday. It's not possible. You cannot have an annual general meeting, even if it is a Section 8 company on a national holiday. Definitely not possible. Even the adjourned meeting, we don't hold it on a national holiday. Suppose 8th, August 8th, if a meeting was held, you have specified August 8th as the AGM date. Now, if it could not be held 8th August, the next day it will automatically get postponed to the next week, same date. So it will fall on 15th August. Then you should have to be careful when the question says 8th August, AGM is going to be held. Why they are specifying this 8th August? Because if quorum is not there, if it gets postponed to the next week automatically, it will not be held on. If that day it is a national holiday, it can only be held on 16th August, which is not a national holiday. That is the rule. So you should be careful in writing the question, since the adjourned meeting also. Sunday is not a thing. They can organize the AGM. Sunday is not a national holiday. See, the main rule is that national holiday. It cannot be held on Independence Day or Republic Day or Gandhi Jayanti. So those days definitely, or any, the government declares that day as a national holiday, then you cannot hold the meeting on that particular day. So you should be careful when the question is asked. Even adjourned meeting cannot be held on a national holiday. It can only be held on the 16th of August. Automatically, it will go to the next date. Because otherwise, you are violating this provision. If that adjourned meeting in August 8th is the original meeting, for want of quorum or due to some reason, it gets adjourned to the same day next week. So, if that day is 15th August, then you cannot hold it. That is the concept. Similarly, October 2nd. So, the previous way on previous week, September, they might specify. Then you cannot hold it on that day. It will not be adjourned to October 2nd. That is not possible. So these are the 2 days generally which will fall within that 6 month date. So it could be tested. Okay. See, Sunday is not a national holiday. For our practice, we just follow Sunday as a holiday. It can be held on a Good Friday or some other New Year day or on a Makara Shankaranti day. It could be done on any day. That is not a national holiday. For your local festival day, you are keeping it. But the law says it should not be held on any day that is not a national holiday. So that holds good. Meeting includes the adjourned meeting also, because that is the date on which the meeting is held. So you should have to say even that adjourned meeting also should not be held on a national holiday. That is very important. Then we were talking about power of tribunal in calling the general meeting. So if the company fails to hold a general meeting, power of tribunal to call a meeting. So what is the power of the general meeting? If a company fails to hold its general meeting under section 96, the tribunal can order. So who can apply to the tribunal? Any member of the company can apply to the tribunal. If a meeting is held, ordered by the tribunal and is held on a particular day, that meeting is considered as a legal AGM held on that particular date. Where it is impracticable to call a meeting other than AGM. See, 97 talks about AGM. This is AGM. It is other than AGM. 98 talks about other than AGM. That is general meeting. In case of a general meeting, it is impracticable to call or conduct a meeting like an EGM. The tribunal can order it. So if the director is not possible to call a meeting, then he can apply. A director or a member is entitled, or a director or a member entitled to vote, he can apply to the tribunal and ask for a meeting, or the tribunal suo moto. Suo moto means on its own. So the concept here is either the director can apply to the tribunal or the member can apply to the tribunal, or nobody applying, the tribunal, the NCLT suo moto on its own motion also can call a general meeting. So this is for general meeting other than AGM. Now 99, section 99 talks about punishment for failure to comply with the meeting or for holding the meeting. So there the punishment is up to 1 lakh. Up to 1 lakh means maximum is 1 lakh. And for pending default, further fine of 5,000 per day. So that is a heavy penalty. It's not 500, it is 5,000 per day. For a continuing failure, you are not complying with provision 96, 97 or 98, then 99 prescribes the penalty. Then report on annual general meeting. Yes. See, suo moto means on its own. Nobody can specify. The tribunal itself can call. See, without an application made, the NCLT, National Company Law Tribunal, can call an EGM. That is called as suo motu on its own, meaning on its own, without any application, on its own. It has found out that a meeting has to be held, so it can order. Nobody have given an application. So the NCLT has got power. It will not exercise. That is a different issue. But it has got the power to call a meeting. So see, when I say powers, which can be exercised, which need not be exercised. Generally, practically, Only the director may make an application or a member will make an application and call the GM, general meeting. But NCLT has got a power, wide power. Even though no application has been made to it, on its own it can order. See, the tribunal can order it. I have not used the word calling AGM. It can order. You have to use the word order. That is the word that you should have to write because it is a tribunal, National Company Law Tribunal. If you come across the word court, company law tribunal, it can only order. Order is the correct word in law which you should have to write. If you simply say the tribunal can call, it is wrong. The tribunal orders it. Do what I say. So that is an order. So it has got the power to order the general meeting. So the wordings are very, very important in law. You should have to write the correct wording. If it is a court direction, so the court gives the direction, order, direction. So these are some of the words that you should have to, while reading itself, you should have to observe what is the word that is used, where it is used, when it is used. When you come across this word court, tribunal, it orders. So there it has got the power, but it need not exercise its power. See, we are speaking about the power of tribunal. So that is on its own also, it can order a general meeting where no application has been made by the director or a member. It feels that the general meeting should be held, then it can order. Suppose in case of acquisition of a company. Now in public interest also it can order one. It is possible, it has got the power. It can say nobody is going to question the tribunal, right? So it on seeing the situation, it can make an order. That is the meaning of suo motu on its own. It has got the power to order a general meet. It can order it. That's the concept here. In the examination also, when you write it, you have to use the word order, tribunal. It is ordering. The central government gives the direction. These are the words that specifies that you have understood the concept. You are making known to the examiner that you have understood the concept very well. That is very important. Then, AGM, you submit a report in MGT 5 to RBOS. I'm sorry, MGT 15, not 5, a slip of the tongue. So MGT 15 to ROC. So what the report should contain and who should have to submit the report. Now any listed company should also prepare a report that it has convening of annual general meeting. That is the correct word used. Convening of annual general meeting. It was held on that date and it was concluded as per the provisions. It was proposed to be held, it was concluded. Both. You should have to read it carefully. AGM was convened, comma, held, and concluded as per the provisions of this act and rules made therein. So that is not to be confused with minutes. It is in addition to minutes. In addition to minutes. You also have to give a report of the AGM. Minutes is separate, report is separate. Now this report should be signed and dated on what day he is signing the report by the chairman of the meeting. Suppose the chairman is not able to sign by two directors, if the company has one MD, a person by the name MD, he should be a signatory to it. And if there is a company secretary of that company, then the company secretary should also be a signatory. By any two directors, it should have to be signed. one of whom shall be a managing director if there is one, and company secretary of the company. Suppose it can be no MD. So it can be signed by director and company secretary. No company secretary. Then it can be signed by director 1 and director 2. There is an MD. Then it should be signed by director and MD. These are the possibilities. You have a MD and company secretary. Then it should be signed by MD and company secretary. By any two directors of the company, then it should one of whom shall be an MD and the company secretary of the company. Or it can be signed by two MD on the representing the board of directors, and it can also be additionally signed by the company secretary. The company secretary is not a director. Director is something different. So I will if there is one, the concept is he should also be the company secretary should also have signed it. It should be signed by MD and a director plus a company secretary. Because the act is saying by any two directors. Company secretary is not a director. So in that case, MD and director, any two directors, and where there is a company secretary, he should also be a signatory. That is the concept. And the form should be given in MGT 15 to RC. Again, the same 30 days. Within 30 days of conclusion of the AGM. Why they are using the word conclusion of the AGM? Conclusion of the AGM. Is there any specific meaning of the word conclusion of AGM? Suppose I hold the AGM. For want of quorum, it was not held on that day. It was adjourned. Then, on the adjourned meeting only, it was concluded. See, original date, it can be one date. And adjourned meeting, it was adjourned to some other date. So, in this means only at the adjourned meeting, it was held, then only it was deemed to be concluded. So that's why the wording is 30 days of conclusion of AGM. So if it is original meeting could not be held, it was adjourned on some other day. In between that time, it is not concluded. The meeting was not concluded. So convened, held and concluded. So it is conclusion of AGM is complete. The meeting is complete, concluded. No more AGM is required. Then if the adjourned meeting was held, then that is the conclusion of the meeting. So it is 30 days of conclusion of AGM. It has got a wide meaning. Conclusion of AGM. You have to write it as conclusion of AGM. And the report shall contain the following. What is that? On which day it was held? Say if it is on Tuesday, 1st September 2026. What is the venue? At ABC Mahal or at Nehru Stadium or whatever is that stadium. You have it. Then which hour? At 10 a.m. So this specifies the hour, this specifies the venue, this specifies the date, and this specifies the day, Tuesday. On which day? You have to specify day, date, hour, and venue. Then appointment of chairman. Who chaired the meeting? The number of members attending the meeting. It could be 700 members attending the meeting. Then you have to count and you have to specify number of members. 700 members or 720 members physically attended the meeting. Then quorum, the minimum requirement. We saw in case of general meeting, so many members, 15, 20, 30, we saw the quorum. So confirmation of quorum. And the complaints of the act of the Companies Act 2013 rules, whatever is there. Then secretarial standards, SS. confirmation with respect to complaints of the act, secretarial standards, then calling, convening, and conducting the meeting. Meaning you should have to give 21 clear days notice. Then it should not be held on a national holiday. You should have to conduct the meeting during business hours. So all the specifications have been complied with. So you should not violate any of the provisions. That is the meaning of confirmation with respect to calling, convening, and conducting the meeting. And what are all the businesses that were transacted at that meeting? Ordinary business, special business, then that special business, ordinary resolution or special resolution. So everything you should have to make a mention. Suppose this meeting was postponed. Postponed means you cannot hold the meeting. It's not an adjournment. A postponed on a different date. Change in when you could be there. There was a pandemic. You cannot hold the meeting on the specified date. Then it has to be postponed. It will be held on some other date. Then adjournment. For what reason it was adjourned? Whether it is a lack of quorum. So that is the common reason for adjournment of a meeting. Then any other points which they want to say in that report, that also can be specified in that report. And it should contain a fair and correct summary of the proceedings of the meeting. So whether it was as an ordinary resolution, special resolution, all those details should have to be specified there. So this report should have to be given by a listed company, should have to prepare the report, and it should have to give it. Then automatically listed company, it will have a, if it has an MD or a company secretary, then both should be the signatory. It should be signed by the chairman, or if the chairman could not sign it, it can be signed by any two directors of the company. So these are some of. Now, if there is a violation, the company has not complied with, then you have got a penalty. Company is liable to a penalty of 1 lakh, and for a continuing default, it is 500 per day. Maximum is up to, which may extend up to 5 lakhs. So maximum is 5 lakhs. For the officer in default, it is 25,000 plus continuing default, it is 500 per day. Maximum of up to 1 lakh. It is the penalty for default for not giving a report of the annual general meeting to the ROs. That is the concept. Is it clear? Shall we proceed further? Now, EGM. So, what is an EGM? Extraordinary general meeting in between two AGMs. If it is so urgent that the matter could not wait, then an EGM can be called. Who can call it? First, the board of directors on its own can call it. Example, if it wants to increase the remuneration or it wants to appoint an MD or it wants to appoint a company secretary. Now the paid up capital requires, it has increased its capital and it requires the company secretary. Or if it feels that a company secretary should have to be appointed, then the board of directors can do it. Now members have submitted a requisition. Members have requested the board to call EGM. That is the second option. So the board has received a requisition from the members asking it to call an EGM. Now the board has not called, then the requisitionist themselves then call an EGM. Suppose they have not taken steps within 21 days. The rule says within 21 days it should have to take steps to call an EGM within 45 days from the date of receipt of the requisition. Suppose the board has not taken any steps, then the members themselves can call EGM within 3 months. So members have got power to call EGM within 3 months. So who can call EGM? First, the board of directors. EGM is not mandatory. Only AGM is mandatory. Every company should have to hold annual general meeting once a year. A company can also do without any EGM till date. Without any EGM. Nobody is going to question you why no EGM. It can do it. Necessity did not arise. So it will not call an EGM. See, once you call an AGM or EGM, then immediately the special resolution or in EGM, any business is a special business. It can be passed either as an ordinary resolution or a special resolution. Then immediately you have to file the resolution with the ROCs, that whatever resolution you have passed within 30 days. So first, the board of directors on its own, then the board of directors on a requisition from the members, or if they have failed to call an EGM, then the requisitionists themselves can call the EGM. Only if the board does not, then three options are there. So EGM can be called by any of the persons there. We will see one by one. So section 100. Who can call EGM? The board of directors, whenever it deems fit, call an EGM. It is of an urgent business which cannot wait till the next AGM. So shareholders' approval is required for that. Then in that case, they will call an EGM and get the shareholders' approval. Now the members can requisition the EGM. So if the company has a share capital, then 1/10 of the members who hold the paid up share capital of the company, then they can call. Requisitionist means one who request. They are called as requisitionist. Say, I'll give you an example. The members you have A to Z are the members in the company. Now P, Q, and R wants to have an EGM. Then they can request the company to call a EGM. Then PQR are called as requisitionist. One who has taken an initiative that an EGM should be called, or they are saying. So request, one who has made a request, from that this word has arise. This word comes requisition. Request, requisition, requisitionist. So based on the request, it derives origin from the word request. A request a company, a requisition is filed, then requisitionist. This talks about the person who has requested. So in case of a share capital, by 1/10 of the paid up share capital. Example, if the company has got 5 lakh rupees worth of shares, then 1/10 of that, members holding 50,000 rupees worth of paid up capital, they can call the agent. At least minimum. Then 1/10 of the paid up capital. You have to calculate what is 1/10 of the paid up capital, share capital of the company. Then they should be holding this much rupees worth of shares. Then you can convene the AG. So they have got a right or power to call and request. Then company is not having a share capital. Then 1/10 of the voting power. So members is having the voting power. So 1/10 of the members we can call. Now, if I say P, Q, and R have requisitioned, all the three should have to sign the requisition. And it should be sent to the registered office of the company. The board, what is the board's action? What action the board should take within 21 days of the receipt of the valid requisition? See, every word is important. Of a valid requisition. If the requisition is not valid, then they need not proceed with it. Of a valid requisition, 21 days of the valid requisition, it wants to, then it should have to take, within 21 days, it should have to take steps to call a meeting within 45 days. So not later than 45 days. So from 21st day to 45th day, the EGM should have to be called. At least on the 45th day, it should have been called, latest by 45th day. That's why the wordings is on a day not later than 45 days from the date of receipt of such requisition. So within 21 days, it should have to take steps from the date of requisition, proceed to call within 40 days. It can call it on 35th day or 40th day, 44th day. It could be any day. They can call an issue. If the board has not called, has violated, it has not called, it is a valid requisition and the board did not call an EGM, then the requisitionist themselves can call, but within 3 months from the date of requisition. So after this, within 90 days, from 45th day to 46th day to 90 days, or roughly 90 days, 3 months from the date of requisition. So 30, 60, 90. So 3 months. So why I am saying 3 months is in terms of days, it is 45th day, that will be 1.5 months. So from 46th day to 90 days approximately. But the act is specifying only 3 months. So you have to take it as only 3 months. For your understanding, I am saying it as 46 to 90 days. From the receipt of requisition, yes, within 45 days, they should have to conduct an EGM. Proceed to call a meeting on a day not later than 45 days from the date of receipt of such requisition. They should have to. Yes, PQR together should hold at least 1/10 of the paid up capital, or they can also join PQRST, whoever it is. They wanted to get the consent from the requisitionist so that their total paid up capital is 1/10, at least 1/10 it comes to. That they should have to do it. So it should have to proceed to call a meeting on a date not later than 45 days from the date of requisition. It should have taken steps. Then it has not done any activity within 45 days. Then within 3 months, within a period of 3 months, may be called and held. So may be called and held. If you read the wordings, the meeting may be called and held. So the EGM may be called and held within the period of 3 months from the date of requisition. That's very important. And the reasonable expenses, whatever they have incurred, the company only should have to bear it. And whoever is the director who's in default, from his remuneration, it be deducted. Or whatever fee he is getting, or fee or remuneration, thus expenses will be deducted. Because they were the defaulting person. So it will be deducted from their fee. Now, shall we take a break or how do you feel? Shall we take a 10 minutes break and then we will meet? Yes. So we will take a 10 minutes break. Yes. So, welcome back. So, after this EGM, what is the applicability to a one person company? So, whether the provisions are applicable to a one person company, what are all the provisions that will be applicable to a one person company? Now, provisions of section 98 and 100 to 111. 100, we will be seeing all these things. That is not at all applicable to a one person company. Then ordinary business shall be transacted. What is an ordinary business? That is namely consideration of accounts, the director's report, the auditor's report, and the financial accounts thereon. So that is the first thing. Then declaration of dividend. Then third one, appointment of directors, those retiring by rotation, and you are reappointing him. Then appointment of auditors. This is the general thing. So we will have the first agenda and the fourth agenda. So these four will be applicable generally for a OPC. So that business can be transacted. Ordinary business can be transacted as provided in subsection 3 of 122, that is namely consideration of accounts and appointment of auditors, that can be taken. Now, whatever resolutions that has been passed for a one person company, that should be communicated by the member to the company. And they should also write it in the, enter it in the minutes book maintained for the purpose. So whatever has been passed in AGM or EGM, that should also be done. Generally, they conduct AGM practically. Now, if there is only one director, then what about the board meeting and minutes? Whatever resolution has been passed, that also should be entered in the board meeting minutes or board minutes. That will be signed by the director or the chairman. So we will go in detail what are all the provisions which are not applicable. Now they have specified it as 98 and 100 to 111. What are they which are not applicable? So these provisions are not applicable. Namely 98 and 100 to 111. So power of tribunal to call meetings of members, that is not applicable for an one person company. So except one person company, for others it is applicable. Then calling of EGM by section 100, because it is only a one person company, that necessity will not arise, the same person. It is a latest provision which was introduced with the Companies Act 2013. So previously there was no concept of OPC, one person company. Notice of the meeting should be given, then explanatory statement attached to the notice, then quorum is not applicable, then there should be a chairman of the meeting, then proxy should have to be appointed, or proxy form and proxy member. Proxy is the person, if he is not able to attend, he is appointing another person to attend the meeting. Then restriction on voting rights, then show of hands, electronic means, postal ballot, or demand for poll. All these things are not applicable for a one person company. Postal ballot. Here, this postal ballot is only when it is widely distributed and you want the consent of all the members, you have this postal ballot concept. See, your screen is visible, right? Okay, okay, fine. So the circulation, yes, ma'am. See, when one person company converts itself into a private or public limited company, then it is not having the status of one person company. See, it loses its status once it gets one person company, converts itself into a private company or a public company. Assume what is the status of this company now? Stated status is either a private limited company or a public limited company. So in that case, this is applicable only for an one person company. So it loses its status. So this exemption or this non-applicability will not be there. It is applicable, it's not applicable only for a one person company. The moment it gets converted itself to a private limited company or public limited company, everything will change. No, the status gets changed. So it is no more a one person company. Then automatically the normal provisions will start apply to them, depending on whether it is a private company or a public limited company. So this non-applicability provisions will no more be there for a OPC, one person company, because it loses its status the moment it converts itself to a private company. Then circulations of members resolution, even that is not there. All these provisions are not applicable to a one person company only if it retains the status of one person company. When it loses its status, then automatically the provisions will become applicable. That is the concept. Then the ordinary business, which is required to be transacted, namely the consideration of accounts or appointment of auditors, etc., which a company is required to transact at an AGM, can be transacted by a one person company. What is the provision? Following procedure you should have to adopt. The resolution should be communicated by the member to the company. Then it should be entered in the minutes book maintained for this purpose. The same procedure, signed, dated, when you are recording that minutes, place, date, and it should be signed by the chairman. It should be signed and dated by the member, because it is only one person. Here you should have to make a note. There is no concept of chairman. Chairman applicability is not there. We have seen here chairman of meetings, 104. It's not there. It's not applicable. So it need not be signed by the chairman for a one person company. It should be signed and dated by the member. You should have to correlate it with the previous provision, non-applicability. Then the date on which the minutes book is signed shall be the deemed to be the date of meeting for all the purposes. So that date will be taken as the date of the meeting. Suppose only one director is there. The OPC one person company has got only one director. Then in that case, it can be entered the resolution by such director. He should have to enter it in the minutes book. It should be signed and dated by only by that director, by such director. See the wording as such director. This is important. Such director means here it is referring to that one director who's there. So he is referred to as such director by that director. And whenever it was signed, that will be the deemed to be the date of the meeting for all the purposes. And if there is a non-compliance, then as usual, penalty provisions will be applicable. So what are the penalty provisions? Every officer in default is liable to a fine which may extend to 5,000 rupees, and continuing default it is 500 per day. The penalty will be applicable to the one person company. Right? We shall take some of the MCQs and then I will do a summing up session after this completion of this MCQs. Will give you the correct picture. Now, if a company fails to hold an annual general meeting under section 96, which authority can call or direct the calling of an AGM under section 97? Is it the central government, the ROC, the National Company Law Tribunal, or SEBI, Securities and Exchange Board of India? So many have come out with the correct answer. What about others? See, it is the National Company Law Tribunal. The tribunal can order. When I say the tribunal, it is National Company Law Tribunal can order. Now, one thing I wish to state. See, here in this topic, I am taking this. See, it's not ROC. The tribunal has got powers. See, under section 97, 98, 99 is the penalty. Yes. NCLT. Yes. See, now I'm taking this topic, and you know very well it is fresh. In the examination, when you get so many MCQs, then at that time you should have to remember this, and you should have to write it correctly. That is quite challenging, right? So it is only National Company Law Tribunal. In short, it is called as tribunal. You asked, no, in this, we saw two things. One is for AGM, then other than AGM. Then what are the points who can call? That again is important. 3 points. You are asking me about suo moto, right? So the tribunal can suo moto also call an EGM. Next question. Ah. Under section 98, if it is impracticable to call a meeting of the company other than an AGM, the tribunal has the power to order a meeting to be called either on its own motion or on the application of any director, any member entitled to vote, both A and B, only the chair. What should be the answer for this? See, here 3 points you should have to remember, right? Think of the provisions. See, I will go to that slide. See, Virashri and Kashish, you see here, a power of other than AGM. The second point is who can apply. Any director or a member entitled to vote or the tribunal suo motu on its own motion. So 3 points are covered here. The director or member. Then I said the tribunal may exercise, need not exercise, but it has got a power. But application should be made by any director or member entitled to vote. So both are entitled to make an application. So the answer should be both um, A and B. So we will go to the MCQ. So the director can also call the, see the application can be made by a director or application can also be made by a member entitled to vote. See, the wording is beautifully framed, entitled to vote. Then the tribunal suo motu on its own. So the question is either on its own motion. So here suo motu is covered or on the application of any director or any member, A or B. So answer is both A and B. Probably A or B, both are correct. Not only a director, director can also do it, a member entitled to vote can also do it. So both A and B are correct. So this is the correct answer. Only the chairman. You should be careful when you come across the word only. So the chairman, that is wrong. So C is the correct answer for this. So section 98 allows the tribunal to call a meeting on its own motion or on the application of any director or member entitled to vote. This is other than an AGM. What about for AGM? What is the rule? Only member can apply. For AGM, the directors cannot apply. Who can apply? Only member can apply. Suo motu power is also not there. Right? So if they say AGM, any member can apply. Any member of the company. See, the wordings are very important. See, here it is specified as any member of the company, whereas here it is specified member entitled to vote. So in case of annual general meeting, any member can make an application. So that also I will make a note. Yes, only members are eligible to apply for an AGM. So if it is an AGM, members can make an application. Any member can make an application. If it is other than AGM, The application can be made by a director or member entitled to vote or by the tribunal suo motu on its own. Then, according to section 100, an EGM of a company other than a wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India shall be held at any place in India, only at the registered office, any place in the world, only within the city where the registered office is situated. So, what should be the answer for this? Read the question carefully. I get mixed answers for this. See, this is not AGM. This is EGM, right? Extraordinary General Meeting. Okay. See, what is that EGM? See, section 100. See, company having when to call a meeting and requisitions themselves can call. So the three somewhere we saw right. So for holding an annual general meeting for an unlisted company, it can be any place in India, right? For an EGM, the Act specifically says that other than a wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India. So then the rule says that it can be held in any place in India when the members consent. Except for, the rule is that except for um, wholly owned subsidiary which was incorporated outside India, the EGM can be held at any place in India. No restriction that it should be held only at the registered office or anything. Within India, you can hold. That is the rule. because it could be called by the requisitionist or they can requisition. EGM is not a mandatory thing, right? Only the company is doing. For a AGM, for an unlisted company, it can be held at any place within India. So EGM also, similarly, it can be held at any place within India. So wholly owned subsidiary. When do you call a subsidiary as a wholly owned subsidiary? Now A limited is there and B limited is there. Now B limited share capital will be there. Now say if it has got 5 lakhs, more than 51% if it is held by A limited, I'll give you the situation one. More than 51% of B limited is held by A limited. Then in that case, A limited is the holding company and B limited is the subsidiary company. Suppose in situation 2, 100% of B limited shares are held by A limited. Then you call, yes, this B limited is the wholly owned subsidiary of A limited, meaning that B limited entire share capital is held by A limited. So it is 100% subsidiary. A limited is holding 100% shares of B limited. That is the meaning for wholly owned subsidiary. 100%, it's not 51%, it is not a holding company, it is wholly owned subsidiary, WOS we call it as. So other than a wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India, meaning the holding company will be, suppose this company is incorporated in UK, assume, or any company outside India. Now it is holding, its subsidiary is in India. Now 100% of the shares are held by that UK, other than a wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India. Now Indian company shares, 100% shares are held by this UK company. Then suppose let me take it as A company limited or A company. Then this I will take it as UK company, UK company. So this UK company's wholly owned subsidiary is A company. Other than this situation, it can be held at any place in the India. In India, you can hold EGM in any place in India. That is the concept. No, holding company controls 100% of the subsidiary means yes, holding it is a wholly owned subsidiary. No, no, it has not been mentioned. Outside India, it should hold EGM. That has not been mentioned. See, that says that it can be held, EGM can be held anywhere in India. In India, the registered office might be in one state. You can hold the thing within the registered office or outside the local limits, whatever it is, that is applicable. So we are not bothered about except in that situation. That is for wholly owned subsidiary. It can be held in India, any place in India, other than this situation, other than a wholly owned subsidiary of a company incorporated outside India, it can be held. See, this you will be learning subsequently a topic companies incorporated outside India. At that time, you will get a clarity on the subject. You will be reading a topic companies incorporated outside India. wherein they have to file the documents. Even for foreign companies, it will be filed in Delhi. It's not like ROC is not applicable for them. So one central office for the entire foreign companies incorporated outside India, they will file it at one particular place. So there you will be learning that then when you read about companies incorporated outside India, that is also part of your syllabus. In that you will be reading in detail this. We'll go to the next MCQ. Under section 119, the minutes book of general meetings can be kept at the registered office and shall be open for inspection during business hours by any director, any member without charge, any creditor on payment of fees, the public at large. Why public at large can they inspect the minutes? It is between the shareholders or the members and the company, right? What is a general meeting? See, it can be done by any member without charge. Minutes book can be inspected by any member without charge. No, public cannot do it. See, public means even a non-member will come and inspect. That's not possible. Minutes, I'm saying. See, only the documents are can be seen. It is transparent. Any third person can do it, but not about minutes. What about minutes? See, the documents you can view. A third person can inspect and view the documents. That is possible. At the MCA 21 portal, a person can pay the prescribed fees and go do an inspection and get the extracts and he can get it. That is possible. But minutes are the should have to be maintained permanently, right? So how can you expect every person to come and inspect the minutes? That is not possible. We will go to the minutes, inspection of minutes. We will see signing of minutes, then place of. That's why you are keeping it under the custody of a company secretary or a director. Inspection of minutes. What it says shall be books containing the minutes of the proceedings of any general meeting of a company shall be kept at the registered of the office of the company shall be open to inspection during business hours by any members without charge, subject to such reasonable restrictions as specified in the articles of company or as imposed in the general meeting. So if it is a soft copy, then he can get it free of charge. So by any member without charge. So minutes of the meeting of any general meeting, it is available only for a member, not for the public at large. It's not specified anywhere that public at large can come and inspect the minutes. The documents which are filed with the ROC, that is a public document, transparent document. Whereas here it is only by any member without charge. You should have to be clear. Member without charge. The creditor public cannot do it. Then these questions are questions which were asked in your previous examinations. This is a case study questions. 4 questions will form part of this one case study. We will learn this case study and then we will go through it. No, I will use the highlighter. Okay. Read the case study. The notice for conducting the annual general meeting of XY Limited was sent on 3rd August 2024. Now, before proceeding with the case study, you should have to see what are the questions asked. Then, based on that, you should have to study the case study. Based on the you read the question like this: based on the facts given in the above case scenario and referring to the applicable provisions and rules therein, choose the correct answer of the following questions. What is the question? What is the course of action that XYZ Limited should take for filing of the financial statements with the registrar with respect to the annual general meeting which could not be held on 5th September 2024? Yes. And a meeting could not be held. So that is the first question. We will see one by one. Now you read the case study. The notice for conducting the AGM was sent on 3rd August to all the stakeholders who are eligible to receive the notice. The said notice specified that the AGM will be held on 5th September 2024, right? So it will be held on 5th September 2024. It is supposed to be held on 5th September 2024. But due to want of quorum, the said AGM was adjourned to 12th September 2024. In the said meeting held on 12th September 2024, the financial statements of the company could not be adopted due to some unavoidable situation. So financial statements could not be, adoption of accounts was not done. Since the financial statements of the company could not be adopted in the above meeting, the directors did not file the financial statements relating to the financial year 2024 with the registrar on the plea that the financial statements of the company were not adopted in the general meeting and therefore there is no necessity to file any financial statement with the registrar till the same are adopted. So here it's a typographical error. Till the same or not adopted. So since you adopt, till you adopt, you need not file it. That is the meaning it conveys. On 2nd December 2024, an extraordinary general meeting was conducted in which the financial statements of the company were adopted. Since the company secretary was on a business tour and was absent from India from 10th December to 2nd January 2025, the adopted financial statements were filed with the registrar only on 3rd January 2025. Based on the above facts and scenario referring to the applicable provisions and rules, what is the course of action that they should have to take? XYZ Limited should inform. This is for taking the financial statements with the registrar. What is the course of action that XYZ should take for filing of the financial statements with the registrar with respect to the annual general meeting which could not be held on 5th September. Now you have to understand the concept first. So on 5th September, they called the AGM on 5th September 2024. It was adjourned to 12th September 2024. Even on that adjourned meeting, the accounts were not adopted. Then there was an EGM on 2nd December 2024, wherein they adopted the accounts. And the financial statements were filed only on 3rd January 2025. That is the data which you should have to remember. The points in the chronological order with the date. So if you get a question like that, write the date in the chronological order and then what is the event? Event date, you try to put it. What is the event? What is the date? Or you can put it as date and event. Date and event. So 5th September, the meeting was called and this was an AGM. Adjourned meeting. It was adjourned to adjourned AGM. Then EGM was called on 2nd December, wherein the accounts were adopted. So here no adoption of accounts. Then he has specified filing on 3rd January 2025, filing with the ROC of accounts. Actual accounts was held. Now the question is, what course of action that X Limited should take for filing of the financial statements with respect to the annual general meeting, which could not be held on 5th September 2024. XYZ Limited should inform the registrar that the fact that AGM could not be held for want of quorum and therefore the financial statements will be filed with the registrar only when they are adopted in a general meeting. Or second option, B option, should inform the registrar the fact that AGM could not be held for want of the quorum, but the unadopted financial statements will be filed with the registrar within a period of 30 days from 5th September. C, there is no obligation on the part of, see, the first A and B talks about the obligation, that is, it should have to inform the registrar, inform ROC. This is also inform ROC. The C and D talks about no obligation to inform ROC. And here also no obligation to inform ROC. In C talks about, but there is no obligation on the part of XYZ to inform the fact to the registrar that the AGM could not be held for want of quorum. But the unadopted financial statements will be required to be filed with the registrar within a period of 30 days from 5th September 2024. D option talks about there is no obligation that to inform the registrar that the AGM could not be held for want of quorum. Also, the unadopted financial statements are also not required to be filed. So, no obligation to inform. So, need not inform. Need not inform. And not filing is also not required. So, what should be your answer for this? This is a case study question which was asked in January 25. Why others did not try it? See, there is no obligation to inform. Anywhere have we read that we should have to inform the registrar. But account should have to be filed. That you cannot delay because it is an ordinary business, routine business. It comes as a routine business. See, if you take A or B, you should have to inform the registrar, but that is not a requirement. See, you need not inform the, why should you inform the registrar? Accounts, adoption of accounts or not, that should have to be, that is that is not, you are not filing any document, but account should be filed within 30 days of conclusion of AGM. You should have to file the documents within 30 days. You should have to file AOC 4 within 30 days. Then you are subject to penalty. Your non-compliance will arise. But nowhere it has been mentioned if it could not be held due to want of quorum, the registrar should be informed to know. So A and B will not come. There is no obligation on the part of the company for each and everything that you should have to inform the registrar. It could be adjourned. You are not able to hold the annual general meeting because quorum is not there. So A and B will not be applicable. Now the question arises C and D. Here you should have to select. Now C talks about you should have to give the unadopted financial statement. It has been specified accounts of the company should have to be filed with the registrar. That is the finalized accounts, right? See, what is adoption of financial statement? They should have to conduct a board meeting and they should have to adopt. And in the AGM also, they will consider and consideration of adoption of financial accounts, the board of directors report, auditors report, and the financial statement thereon. It will be mentioned if you see the notice. So it could not be held. So it is only with respect to C and D. What is that? C, no obligation to inform. The unadopted financial statement also will not be required to be filed with the registrar in the situation. No, you should have to file the unadopted thing. That will be treated as a provisional statement. You have not adopted it. It is not a finalized one. It will be treated as a provisional thing. So the answer is there is no obligation on the part of the C is the answer. But the unadopted financial statements will be required to be filed with the registrar within a period of 30 days. So you have not adopted it, but that is the accounts of the companies, right? The AGM could not be held. They have not adopted the accounts, but accounts should have to be filed with the registrar. What is accounts? That is the balance sheet, P&L. If there is a cash flow statement that will be there, then notes on accounts, the director's report, auditor's report. So only if it is filed with the registrar, it becomes a public document. It is transparent. The public will know that whether it is there or not. They would like to see, no? So you have to file the documents with the registrar. You treat it as unadopted itself. But unadopted financial statement should be filed with the registrar within a period of 30 days from 5th September 2024. Right? We'll proceed with the next MCQ with the same case scenario. What is the course of action that XYZ Limited should take for filing the financial statements with the registrar with respect to the adjourned meeting? See, first question was about AGM. See, first scenario was the AGM. Second question, second MCQ is on about the adjourned AGM on 12th September. First one talks about 5th September. Now this talks about 12th September. So now you try this. XYZ Limited should inform the registrar the fact that AGM was held on 12th September, and since the financial statements were not adopted, the financial statements will not be required to be filed. Here it talks about not filed, inform ROC. Not required to inform and not required to be filed. Here there will be no obligation to inform the registrar, but unadopted financial statement will be required to be filed with the registrar from within a period of 30 days, which will be considered by the registrar as provisional financial statement. The third one, fourth one, no obligation to inform and will be required to be filed, that will be treated as a financial statement. Is it a provisional financial statement or will it be treated as a financial statement? So that is the difference between C and D. Try to understand what the MCQ talks about. See, ordinary business is only consideration of financial, it is an ordinary business. Since ordinary business could not be done, it is considered as a special business in EGM. All business transacted in EGM are special business. It is an ordinary business only. Consideration of accounts is an ordinary business in an AGM. But the same, if it is taken, adopted in EGM, it is a special business. Because the rule says whatever business transacted in an EGM is a special business. Only some have given the correct answer. Then what will you do if you are adopting it in EGM and then you are filing it? At that time only it is a proper financial statement. It is an adopted one, consideration of accounts. So many have given the correct answer, but some have given the wrong answer also. We will just check it. Yes. See, the rule says that it is only an unadopted financial statement. Even in case of the thing, you have to file it with the registrar. Whether it is adopted or unadopted, you should have to file within 30 days of the AGM. Now, it was adjourned to 12th September. Then one rule is that whatever members present there, they will form a quorum. But unfortunately, they have not adopted the financial statement. See, the rule says even if the adjourned meeting, if there is no quorum, the members personally present shall form the quorum. So quorum is there for the adjourned meeting, but the accounts were not adopted in the financial statement. So in that case, whatever be the situation, you should have to file it within 30 days. So the answer is there is no obligation to inform the registrar. There is no obligation because nowhere it has been mentioned that you have to inform the registrar why the AGM was not held. It is not at all necessary. So only thing is you should have to specify. So there is no obligation to inform the registrar. Because it is a purely personal matter of the company. It need not be informed. But within 30 days of the adjourned meeting, you should have to file the statement. From what is the date of the adjourned meeting? 12th September is the adjourned meeting. So within 30 days from 12th September, you should have to consider that and you have to file it with the registrar. So filing with the registrar is mandatory. They are not going to question you why you have filed it again. Again, you are filing, no question will be asked. But if you have not complied it, non-compliance provision will get attracted. See, first time you are doing it, suppose in many cases, even revised accounts will again be filed. You are only going to pay the extra fee that is there. So wrongly submitted, so they will submit it again practically. So what happens is that, but if you have not filed it, then the question will be asked. Non-compliance will be applicable. See, provisional financial statements you have to submit with the registrar. The rule says that the act says that within 30 days you should have to file it with the registrar, then follow the compliance, comply the provisions. You can say it was not adopted. It has only been specified as unadopted financial statement. Unadopted financial statement means it is not adopted in a annual general meeting. Adopted financial statement, then it properly in the meeting they have adopted and that you are filing it. So the law, as per the law, you have to file this. And even after the EGM, you should have to file once. That will be your adopted financial statement, and you can ignore this provisional statement. That is the concept. So the question is not complete. No, it need not disclose the reasons, or it can specify the reasons for not could not be adopted. Reasons for not could not be adopted. What is the reason? It can give an explanation, or the ROC may ask for resubmission. It may ask for resubmission and asking why it was not adopted, what is the issue. Then the company should have to give it in writing. Now, four subdivisions are there in this question. Now we have covered only two subdivisions. What is the course of action that XY Limited should take for filing of the financial statements with the registrar with respect to the extraordinary general meeting held on 2nd December 2024? EGM. XYZ should inform the registrar that the financial statements were not adopted in the adjourned meeting and the adopted financial statements will be required to filed. So you have to give the information and inform the registrar, and you should have to file the with ROC. File it with ROC. That is the first case. Second case, not inform ROC, but the adopted financial statements will be filed with the registrar within the period of 30 days from 2nd December, which will be treated as the financial statement for the financial year, and the previously filed unadopted will be treated as the provisional financial statement. That is option B. Then not required to inform, but adopted financial statements, and this will be returned back to the company. So this is a news. So returned back to the company, and here it is not inform, need not inform, but the adopted financial statements will be required to be filed with the registrar within 30 days from 2024, that is 2nd December 2024, which will be treated as the financial statement, and the previously filed financial unadopted financial statements will be considered as if no financial statements were filed earlier. Now you tell me the answer. What is the correct answer, I will tell you the explanation. See, there is no provision stating that I want you to make an attempt. If I tell you the answer, then you will not try. I want you to try. See, this is a very good question. I wanted to take it up. You have to go through your previous year suggested answers, mock test papers, model test papers, RTPs. I get mixed answer other than the correct answer. Only one have given the correct answer. I will explain. See, there is no concept of returning back the financial statements to the company. See, now it is done online. Even whatever be the situation, the ROC will not return back to the company. That is not possible. That is not done. As if no financial statements have been filed earlier. See, you have filed the unadopted accounts with the ROC. Once you have done this, your SRN number will be generated. You have filed a form. Now everything has been generated. Then you cannot say that as if no financial statements were filed. Once this is the receipt for the thing, right? SRN number is the receipt number. Then you cannot say even this also is not possible. Now, the first thing, and the adopted financial should inform. See, there is no obligation for the company to inform that it was not adopted in the financial statement. Already it has filed. So the correct answer is only option B. See, it has already filed the unadopted financial statement. So the concept is unadopted financial statement will be treated as a provisional financial statement. Then after you adopt an EGM, then that will be treated as the financial statement. Adopted financial rate statement, that will be treated as the financial statement. Because compliance is not done, you will treat it as a provisional financial statement only. Now in this case, peculiar case, it is an ordinary business. Adoption of accounts is an ordinary business. But as per rule, any business transacted in an EGM is a special business. So you have to specify what is the reason. You have to get the shareholders' consent also. The accounts could not be adopted. So the meeting is conducted. You cannot hold a subsequent AGM also. Two AGMs you need not. That is called as only EGM in the nature of AGM for the purpose of adoption of accounts. Only for that purpose this EGM was conducted because it could not be adopted before. So B is the correct answer. Here the answer which they have given is both A or B. Even if the student has given A, it is not a wrong. So I have given it on bold both A and B. So the students who have written A, the answer in the suggested answer gives it as A or B. But I will say B is the correct. Even if the student has given A, there is no obligation to inform. This obligation is not there for the company. But even it is not wrong if they have informed. Should inform. If they have informed, that is not an issue, even if it is informed. So it is specifying the ROC, what is the nature, why it was done, the reason, and then. So even if it is A, marks were given for, even if a person who has selected A, marks were given. But I would say it is only B. practical purpose, it is only B. C and D will not be there. Definitely, you don't return it and think. And there is no obligation for the company to inform the registrar as to why it was not adopted and so on. Is this clear? Then, in the above scenario, in case XYZ could not convene the annual general meeting till 2nd December, and the meeting held on that date was the AGM. What will be the obligation of the company with regard to filing of financial statements with the registrar before conducting the said meeting? The first option says no AGM was held, not required to file any financial statement. Here, not required to file any financial statement, but the statement of facts and reasons for not holding the AGM should have been filed with the registrar within 30 days of the last date before which the annual general meeting should have been held. Reasons for not holding the AGM. Then, even the AGM was not held, ABC XYZ was required to file the financial statements only with the registrar within 30 days of the last date before which AGM should have been held. Even the AGM was not held, the XYZ was required to file the financial statements along with the statement of facts and reasons for not holding the AGM should have been filed with the registrar within 30 days of the last date before which the AGM should have been held. See, in the previous scenario, it was only not consideration of financial thing. Now, here could not convene the AGM in case. So, forget about that scenario. AGM could not be held. AGM, which was due on 5th September 2024, could not convene the AGM till 2nd December 2024. You restrict yourself to this particular thing. In case, in the above scenario, in case X limited. So he is changing the scenario. In case X, there is no adjourned meeting, he is not convening, or it could not be convened, annual general meeting could not be convened till see, it is not even 5th September, they are not able to convene the AGM. That is the concept. Extension of 3 months, they have not mentioned whether extension was granted. See, extension, for granting extension, you should have to make an application. The company should have to make an application with the registrar before the due date, stating valid reasons why it was could not be held, and the registrar on satisfying it will grant extension for a period not more than 3 months. That is till 31st December, it may grant an extension. Here, the meeting itself could not be convened. See, convened means you could not hold an annual general meeting. Convening an annual general meeting could not be done. Was not convened on 2nd December. What is the latest day on which ought to have been held? It should have been held within 6 months from the close of the financial year. So every company should have to hold the annual general meeting on or before 30th September 2024. That is the last day. If the accounts were closed on 31/3/2024, from that date, 6 months. So 30th September, it should have held. In case of AR annual return, they have specified very clearly within 60 days. Whether you hold the meeting or not, ought to have been held within that date. It should ought to have been held on 30th September. You should have to file the accounts. Since the AGM was not held, it cannot file the financial statement with the registrar, right? It was not unadopted financial statement is also not there. But reasons why it was not held, that should have been given. And reasons for not holding should have been mentioned with the registrar within 30 days of the before which the annual general meeting should have been held. So the answer is even the annual general meeting was required, was not held. Many have given the answer, but here even the annual general meeting was not held. Definitely, it should have to specify the reasons for not holding the annual general meeting. See, the B and D are quite similar, but what is the thing? It was not held, was not required to file. Here it has been specified, not required to file. See, the concept here is it was not required to be filed. Here it was required to file the financial statements along with the statement of facts and reasons for not holding the annual general meeting within 30 days. You remember, in annual return ought to have been held for that 60 days. Within 60 days, you should have to file it with the registrar. So even if the annual general meeting was not held, you should have to specify the reasons and you should have to file the accounts with the registrar within 30 days from 30th September 2024. So 30 days means on or before 30th October, you should have to file the accounts with the registrar. That is the concept here. Is this clear? It is there, go through it. So to sum up, the general meeting and administration. If you have any doubts, we will clarify that before summing up. Yes, reason for adjourning the meeting need not be given, but not holding the meeting, AGM. See, you are not holding the AGM itself. That is a mandatory thing, no? So holding AGM is a mandatory thing. Every company should hold an AGM. This is a mandatory thing. EGM is not mandatory, but AGM is mandatory. It should have to hold its AGM within 6 months. Only for the first year of incorporation, 9 months time limit is there, and that too within 31st December 2024. Suppose it was incorporated on the first AGM should have been held on 30th September. Then it has got a time limit of 6 months. It's not, I'm sorry, 9 months instead of 6 months. So it can hold the AGM till 31/12. So for first AGM, no extension by the registrar. Whereas for subsequent AGM, extension can be granted by the ROC provided you give a valid reason for that. That is the concept. Adjourned meeting need not be specified. You need not give the reasons, but you are not holding the AGM. See, you have not granted an, you have not applied for an extension. You have not applied for an extension. Also, you have not hold the AGM. Then you cannot keep it silent, no? So for that case, See, at least an adjourned meeting, a proper meeting was held, was called, but because of a complaints provision only, it was adjourned. Because quorum was not there, it was adjourned. That is the thing. But whereas here the main provision itself has been violated, it was not held. AGM itself was not held. So you have to specify the reasons for not holding the AGM. That you should have to specify, right? So a sum and substance of that with the management and administration for any meeting, whether it is an AGM or EGM, any general meeting, 21 days clear notice should have to be given. And ordinary business, special business, anything other than the ordinary business is a special business, which can be done by an ordinary resolution or a special resolution. In certain cases, a notice should also be attached along with the with the general meeting, giving information to the shareholders as to why this has been given. And after this AGM or EGM, you have to file it with the ROC within 30 days of passing of the resolution. The only exception is with the annual return, you have got 60 days time limit for filing it with the ROC. Now you have to maintain a minutes book and wherein all the resolutions will be recorded and it should be kept in the safe custody of a company secretary or any director authorized for this purpose. And minutes book of general meeting can be inspected by the member. And copies can be taken provided not more than 10 rupees can be charged per page. And you can also give him free of cost if he asks for a soft copy for the thing for the immediately 3 financial years. You can only soft copy is asked. You need not charge him. You can be given free of cost. Any doubts? Just go through the previous year suggested answers, RTPs, MTPs, model test papers, even every words specified in the act is important. And hope you get an idea about this management and administration, all the provisions. If you have any doubts, you can put it, or else we can wind off. See, you can inspect it as a permanent thing. They can even inspect. See, the question is 3 years soft copy can be asked by a member. So the act is silent. Probably you may have to go through the, when the act is silent, you may go through the secretarial standards wherein what has been prescribed by ICSI in their secretarial standards that you should have to go through. But act does not specify how many days you have to request inspection of copy, because one thing is specified, a member can also ask soft copy of the 3 immediately preceding financial years minutes. So the act is silent in this respect. It has not been specified how many days to request. They can inspect at any time they want, members if they want. For previous 3 years, preceding 3 financial years, a person can ask for soft copy, then it can be given free of cost. So no time limit has been specified in that case. Okay. So wish you all the best. This notes will be uploaded. You will be getting a copy of it. And the thing, so thank you, Ma, Sushmita. Yes. So you all enjoyed. So I'm happy to hear that you all enjoyed, and I too enjoyed taking classes. So I wish to thank personally for ICAI Board of Studies for giving me an opportunity to take a class for the wonderful set of students and wish to continue in the near future also. Thank you very much, all of you, for listening patiently and clarifying your. I enjoyed clarifying your doubts and wish you success. All the best. Thank you, everyone. Yes, session over. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.